Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Eplan CDON's Virtual Fair 2017. My name is Anders Donos. I will be your presenter for this live demo of the Eplan platform. So before we get started, please at any time ask questions through our chat. And of course, in the very end, place your feedback accordingly as well. Yeah. As we start talking about the Eplan platform, I think it's a key factor to understand the principles, of course, thinking about cross-disciplinary engineering. That's the foundation to have one engineering backbone for all different type of engineering disciplines. So in this case, where we talk about the Eplan platform, we talk about electrical engineering by our electric P8. We talk about fluid engineering, fluid power engineering to be more precise when we talk about hydraulics, pneumatics, lubrication and cooling. We talk about pre-planning where we, for example, talk about instrumentation and design. We talk about virtual prototyping, utilizing our Eplan Pro panel for virtual cabinet design, for example. We utilize virtual prototyping also for harness design, using Harness Pro D. All of these different engineering disciplines are utilizing the same engineering data backbone. And of course, this is utilizing one single source and truth of data. And this also enables a clear cross-disciplinary engineering environment. Of course, completely available for multi-user environment as well, meaning that you can be several engineers working within the same project at the same time. These are all very important to be able to collaborate and in the very end provide high quality documentation for manufacturing and maintenance. Of course, as you can see, due to the platform, there is a lot of different solutions that we provide. And I would like to focus on the data consistency in between these type of disciplines. What is the essence of making data quality and data consistency? So enough with the PowerPoints. I would like to change to our Eplan environment. So here we see our Eplan environment where we see the project that is currently open on the left side in the project navigator. Also see here, it's an example project based on a grinding machine. This grinding machine here is based on the structure and utilizing the standard IEC 81346, so based on location, function, and product. And in this example, I would like to give you some information how it could look like when we talk about data consistency within the Eplan environment. So if we talk about, first of all, for some examples on electrical drawings alone, we can, for example, here take, we go to one function here, for example, where we have a motor group. We have also here two outputs accordingly. So if I zoom in a little bit here, we can also see that the motor has a cross-reference to a temperature sensor. We see it down here below, referencing to location 82, page 16. Here we see also the motor MA1. With a simple go-to, I can also find directly the temperature sensor, how this is also connected to the PLC, as well also here defining the naming. With a simple change, I can also directly go in here to change the name from MA1 to MA10, for example. And based on this, I change not only here, but using my F key here on the keyboard, jump back. I see directly on the multi-line where we also find the motor, the changed name of the motor itself. So very easily you can maintain data consistency between the same what we call device, but again represented in different ways. If you rather think about other type of engineering disciplines, so how can you work in between different engineering disciplines? I would like to show you an example how you from a fluid design power page also can utilize the same data coming into the electrical design. So If we go, for example, here to the fluid power page, we find here, for example, some valves. See here, zoom in. We see here the two valves, which is utilized to also from the electrical solenoid. We find here the naming MB1, MB2. We see also here for the second coil that it's also cross-referenced. And on the other side, the first coil is not. So looking also here, I will just synchronize this to my devices. I will utilize a jump function where I can now also directly from my device navigator with a simple search for the component MB1, make a drag and drop directly into the electrical schematic. So based on this, you have a very simple way of also placing the valve. Based on this, you also cross-reference jumping back, and we see also directly the coil 1 placed also here in the fluid diagram. So regardless if you are in the electrical or in the fluid, you have always access to the same data backbone where you can place the different representation, in this case the coil. This again enables not only a fast way of collaborating between different engineering disciplines, but also ensures that you have high data quality. Meaning if for some reason I also decide to change the name here in the fluid, we again add a 0 to make it simple. I jump back to the electrical circuit and directly it's also changed here. So all this together, it makes it very simple to work in between different disciplines and collaborate in projects. When you talk about virtual prototypes, as I mentioned before, we provide also by Eplan Pro Panel as well as with Harness POD various different environments for that kind of design. Utilizing, for example, here, one cabinet, which we can see here, will also locate only the mounting panel. I will also show the front view here. Looking at here the virtual prototype, I have also now the possibility to work in a very easy way utilizing the same environment. So from here, for example, using a parts database, which of course could be utilized. We see here various power switchgear, power traction, contactors, and so on. All can be, of course, utilized also from our Eplan data portal, which is available. So, for example, utilizing here one modal over switch, I can very easily utilize this by placing it also here directly into my panel. By also defining the correct names, I will define this for here, next. I also have the right device placed. Also very easily I synchronize to my device database, where I also now have the ability to, of course, from the representation of detail design, also place the same at my schematics. So again, populating my device list, I find directly my FC2, which I place in the virtual environment in Pro Panel. By a simple drag and drop, the system also recognized the correct type of symbolics based on the standard that I'm using, and directly I have also now my device. Of course, these are very essential part to be able to work within a platform, and very essential to be able to maintain data consistency. Also the same here, if I go back here to say, okay, let's change the name to FC20, moving back again to my schematics. I also directly have this already updated, of course. These are the same objects from the engineering database. So as you can see, regardless where you are, if you are working from a fluid or electrical or 3D cabinet design, you all are working in a data consistency to ensure, again, high quality documentation. In the very end, of course, doing design, it's essential also to be able to provide very accurate and correct information to the panel shop, for example, or for maintenance or various commissioning, for example. And to give you an example here, I would like to show you, for example, some of the reports. So Looking at cable diagram, for example, for the commissioning, we see here a cable diagram report. If I take here, for example, a cable overview, we see also here how it's possible to then structure it according to the needs of the requirements. We see in this case cable designation from to, the amount of cross-section and conductors. Also here you can also see the length, for example. And of course in our reports you can also utilize calculations. So in this case we see for that type of cable we need to have an order 12 meters for the commissioning. What is also clear for Eplan, and again to ensure data consistency, reports is also logical. So what does it really mean? Well, logical means also for us that if you, for example, go to the components here, we can see the actual cable in the detail design. If I add, for example, the length, saying, okay, this is a 5-meter cable, which of course then is displayed also here. Coming back to this report, we directly see that this 5 meters is also added to the report. But also, why not also directly from the report work, not needing to go back to every individual page to also update the information. So in this case, we say, well, this is a 3-meter cable, and directly also have the 3 meters added in the report, also total length is summarized. So all this is completely integrated to the same engineering backbone, and of course this enables again the same quality to the documentation that is needed for the production as well as commissioning and maintenance. So all utilizing the same data backbone is essential to be able to provide high quality documentation. So with that said, I think regardless how you work within our platform, with what kind of documentation, single line, multi-line, fluid power pages, PNIDs, 3D representation of cabinet or harnesses, various different type of reports, all are within the same environment, utilize the same data backbone from the engineering platform, and this secures in the very end high quality documentation as well as very important fast and collaborate engineering. So that was a short introduction from the platform per se and the topic data consistency. So of course there is a much more to look into the every individual solution, of course, and I also invite you to visit some of our virtual fairs, live demos here at the fair as well to see them. So I would like to also see if there is further questions. If there is no further questions, we will of course again pick them up after the presentation here. We will answer them by the chat windows at any time. Yeah. So please also press the feedback button to send your information. Don't forget that you can win an iPad, and that's pretty much everything from my side. So thank you very much for listening. I appreciate the time spent with me, and have a fantastic day ahead. Thank you very much. Goodbye.